fucking tired of this place I'm in.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is the end of October, which means it's time to do my end of the month monthly wrap up. So I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in October, which were mostly thrillers, and I'm just so excited to get into this because this is my first time reading thrillers. I do want to mention that I do have a Goodreads account. It's always linked below, and I usually post my monthly TBR on there. I add reading dates, I add what page number I'm on, I add everything, my rating. Sometimes I review books. I did 2 reviews for the books that I read in October, so I'll read those reviews for you so they can be a little bit more, straight to the point. But the other ones, I'm gonna just be talking about the books straight off the top of my head. I also recently made a TikTok. Didn't think I was gonna do that, but I did, and I'm having so much fun over there. So if you're ever interested in seeing some book content related TikToks, you can check out my TikTok, which I will also link below. So let's go ahead and get into what I read this month. Okay, so I am gonna go in order of how I read them, not that that matters, but I started with The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Can we just admire this beautiful cover? Like, the cover alone drew me in, and I feel like Riley Sager always has like really enticing covers. I'm actually going to read the review that I wrote on Goodreads about this book, and then I'll give my thoughts after. Casey Fletcher, who is the main character of this book, former New York City-based actress and daughter of a beloved Broadway star, is recently widowed and now a spiraling alcoholic, in that order. Her mother, desperately wanting to get her out of the public eye and on a path to sobriety, ships her off to the family lake house in Vermont. There she picks up a new hobby, spying on her neighbors across the lake with her late husband's binoculars and a glass of, well, multiple glasses of alcohol. Tom is a tech startup guy, and Catherine is a former supermodel, and they are the beautiful, perfect married couple living in the house across the lake. But they have secrets. One night, Casey is woken from a drunken stupor by a shrill scream in the early hours of the morning. Then silence. You know what they say, if you keep snooping, you'll find what you're looking for. Lake Green holds deep, dark secrets, and Casey will soon find out what lies beneath its waters when her past comes back to haunt her. So that was the little review I wrote on Goodreads. And I rated this book 3 stars. Did give my thoughts in the spoiler section of my review, so you only see it if you click that you want to see it. But without giving any spoilers in this video, I'm gonna tell you why I gave it 3 stars. I just felt like the plot twists were a little sloppy. There was just like way too many things going on. There was way too many plot twists. It was really hard for me to bring them all together and make them make sense in the story. And the other reason I didn't like it, and this is probably the main reason, was because there was elements of supernatural stuff going on, and I wasn't really vibing with it. So that's why I gave this book a 3 stars. It wasn't terrible. I don't regret reading it, but I just was not in love with it. The next book that I'm going to talk about is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. This was so fun. So this is a YA novel, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was just like, oh my God, I was feeling all the feels going back to reading a YA novel, and I need to seek out more YA novels because of this book. This book, as I said in my October TBR, is about 5 students who get sent to detention, and one of them comes out of detention dead. So the other 4 students who are in detention with him are being pinned for the murder, they're being investigated, and they're all in high school. They're all seniors, getting ready to, embark on like various journeys. A lot of them have a lot of things going for them. I really loved this book. It was a page turner. It was a comfy, cozy little murder mystery. And yeah, the ending was like, I won't say that I saw the ending coming. I truly did not know who did it, but yeah, the ending was kind of crazy. But yeah, I really loved this, and I highly recommend it. I gave this a 4.5 stars. I'm gonna give my review in silence. Just kidding. The next book that I read was The Silent Patient by Alex. I still never figured out how to say his last name. michaelides? I don't know, I'm so sorry. Okay, this book was insane. I also wrote a review for this, so I'm gonna read that. The insanely talented artist, Alicia Berenson, who is one of the main characters of this book, or who the story centers around, has shot her husband. It's been several years and we still don't know why or what led up to the moment, because immediately after shooting her husband in the face, she went silent. She hasn't spoken since. Not when the police showed up to the crime scene and found her holding the gun, not during her trial and inevitable sentencing that followed, and not in the psych facility she has been residing in since the tragedy. This act of rebellion, or so it is perceived as, such by the public, causes her to soar to notoriety. The one thing she leaves us to ponder on is a painting that says it all if you can interpret it. Theo, who is obsessed with taking her case and getting her to talk, is her new psychotherapist at the Grove. He is determined to heal her and knows that her silence comes from great pain and trauma. So, yeah, I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 5 stars, okay? 5 stars, maybe 6, because literally, I did not expect what happened. The story is kind of like taking place in a then and now type of situation. So you are truly not aware of what is going on. Like you don't expect the twist unless you're somebody who like reads a lot of thrillers. Like some people in the comments on Goodreads said that they expected it because they read a lot of thrillers, but honestly, like I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. It was insane. So good. It's so well written and the story is just insane. So I gave this 5 stars. The next book that I read was Lock Every Door, which was my second Riley Sager book for the month. The first one being The House Across the Lake. This one I liked so much better. This one I actually give a 4.5 stars because the ending literally shook me. Like I was staring with my jaw dropped for like hours. I was like, are you serious? What? I will say that the beginning was pretty slow. It took me a minute to really get into the story because it just was moving very slow and I just couldn't make a connect why they needed an apartment sitter. Like it just, the math wasn't mathing for me. And so yeah, like I didn't like the explanation of that and it didn't really make sense. And like sis should have seen that coming too, but really good. The ending made it all worth it and it really did start to pick up. It was so freaking creepy. Yeah, this book I loved. I gave it a 4.5 stars. This beautiful piece of art, this beautiful piece of literature. That's a stretch, but the next book that I read was It Starts With Us. This came in on the 18th. I pre-ordered it and I was so excited to read it. And for me, it delivered. And I think the thing is, it depends what you were looking to get out of this book. For me, what I wanted out of this book was to see Atlas and Lily happy. I wanted them to have their happy ever after. I wanted to see their relationship develop and I wanted to have more interactions between them. I wanted to get to know Atlas better and the book gave me all of that. A lot of people are upset because Ryle is in this book and it's kind of like, this is the reality. When you're married and you have a child with somebody who domestically abused you, most of the time you do not get lucky enough to never have to see that person again. So of course Ryle was a part of the story, but yeah, I actually did a reading vlog reading this book, so I will make sure to have it at the top. So if you want to see that, you can go ahead and check it out. But this book got a 5.5 stars for me. It did everything it was supposed to do. It gave what it was supposed to give, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was the most fun read. While we're off of thrillers for a second, I actually forgot to mention this book. This was actually on my September TBR. I never did get to it, but while I was waiting for my books to come in for October, I read this in the first week. So this is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh yeah, I never mentioned this was by Colleen Hoover. I have to be living under a rock to not know that. Just kidding. It is the story of a people. No, but the cool thing about this book is there's a character in this book that we saw in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So, you know, it really has that ties of familiarity. Like there's definitely a world building going on, which you don't always get in like non-fantasy books, but there definitely is that sense of world building, which I loved. The story is pretty heartbreaking. I was more interested in the backstory, so the story of the main girl's parents, than I was in the story that was presently going on. And there's also many points of views, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I read this at the beginning of the month and truly I do not remember. But I think we do get multiple points of views. The story also progresses from like before the main event. So it's like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. leading up to the event that happens at like 9 p.m. It's kind of wild. It's very much like about Hollywood, just like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So yeah, it was a fun read, but I gave it 3 stars. Taylor was trying to tell a story and she made it centered around this party, which I just felt was not necessary. So we had a lot of unnecessary information, a lot of unnecessary characters. We came in and then we never saw again. So yeah, 3 stars, fun read, but 3 stars. The next book that I read was The Handmaid's Tale, and I was really excited to read this because I actually watched The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. Comment down below if you are caught up with The Handmaid's Tale. I feel like it's really an acquired taste and it's really like an artistic piece, so I don't know too many people who watch it, but I absolutely love it and I really enjoyed reading this book. This book was definitely more academic. It took me a little bit longer to read it because I've been so used to like reading the quick reads with like straight to the point writing, and this was definitely required a little more effort. It's all written as thoughts, so it's just like running thoughts of our main character, who is Offred, but in the series we know her as June, even though it never explicitly states that in here. It's a dystopian book, and I consider it a thriller. It's, of course, very political. If you know anything about The Handmaid's Tale, you know that it's about what happens when the United States is destroyed and taken over by like this religious extremist group, and basically they take and misuse a lot of things from the Bible to justify their agenda. Women who were like sinners, so like married more than once, had children out of wedlock, like etc., they became handmaids as long as they were fertile, and they would be assigned to a family in high ranking to be raped by the husband and then carry the baby because the wife was barren, give birth to the baby, and then leave the baby with the family, go off to another family, and repeat. And also, the wife was not always barren. Sometimes it was truly the husband, but they were literally not allowed. It was illegal to say that the man was infertile. That's just a few of the things. This book is absolutely insane. In comparison to the TV series, it's hard to compare them because this book stops at a certain point that leaves us wondering about so much, where the series kind of continues and like takes it on its own route. I would have loved to definitely see more of June and Nick, just like I love June and Nick in the series. Sorry for people who love Luke. I love Luke too. I love them both, and yeah. Anyway, we're not even gonna get into that, but really great. I give this a 5-star ratings. And lastly, I am reading The Guest List. I actually have not finished this book yet because I just haven't. It's not exactly the end of October yet. It's very close to it though. This weekend will be, and that is when I actually plan to be done with this book. It's definitely like an Agatha Christie type of derivative book. Not to say that it's not original, but just to say that like it's those same vibes where there's like a big event that everyone is gathered for and somebody dies, and one by one they have to check out who. But I have been hooked by this book from the beginning because it's pretty good. Almost forgot, these 2 books were also on my TBR for the month. The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose and an Agatha Christie book. This one's Murder on the Orient Express. I did not get to them, unfortunately. I did start The Perfect Marriage, but it was actually terrible and I DNF'd it. So I will not be finishing this, but I do hope to get to this one eventually, one day. These are all the books that I read this month. It was an exciting month. First of all, I had much more time to read, so that was exciting, and I truly enjoyed these books and getting to see a different genre. So soon I will be posting about what I plan to read in November. I'm very excited for November. I'm very excited for any month that I get to read, but I'm very excited for the things that I have selected for November. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and if you had, what your opinion is on them. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Especially the ones that I rated highly, like The Silent Patient and The Handmaid's Tale and It Starts With Us. Let's talk about that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these books. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Every Friday I post here, and I look forward to telling you guys all about my books. Don't forget that you can follow me on TikTok, and you can also follow me on Goodreads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Got you when you're with me. It felt like sudden